So obviously the new DLC trailer came out, so we got a glimpse of actual gameplay. There's some details that got added after that I want to go over about the Loyal 3 Pokemon. There are a couple new sections on the site that I want to look at. The first one is called Okidoki, Monkey Dory, and Pheasantipode's Toxic Chain ability. So their ability got revealed. Now it has always been something to point out that all three of them have this ornament that is purple. It seems to be more intended than we thought. When one of these three Pokemon hits an opponent with a move, the power of the toxic chain all three have may cause the opponent to be badly poisoned. Any move? Even air slash, and it's still toxic chains. That is broken. That is poison touch on crack. So poison touch is an ability where if you use a contact move, there's a 30% chance that the enemy gets just normally poisoned. This is badly poisoned, as well as any move at all. Any move that hits the opponent. I can't see this being a high chance at all. I'm gonna say like 20%. It doesn't matter how goofy these three look, they're gonna kick ass in the metagame. I would say that this would imply they're poison types, but it seems more like they're wielding it, that they're not actually poison types at all. That almost make it more interesting and leaves a mystery to what these ornaments they're wearing are. Maybe they come from Ogerpon. I mean, poison is such an evil typing. Of course, at this point we're branching off from the original Momotaro story, but there might be some link they pull off where Ogerpon and these three knew each other at the very start. Meanwhile, Ogerpon looks like it would have a form with and without the mask. Maybe it also has a form where it gets its ornament back, and it also gets the toxic chain ability. Alright, some other things on the site are about the characters. You'll meet plenty of people studying abroad at Blueberry Academy. Abroad, they use that word again. Will they ever reveal where we are in the world? Among them is Cyrano, the director of the academy and Lacey, a student there. So he is the director. God, he's just got the biggest suit ever. Is that a Honedge? Could you imagine that's authentic Honedge? You have to murder a Honedge and take the ribbon. That's what he's... Yeah, another thing pointed out is his head looks like a knuckle stack. A knuckle. Maybe it's not intended. He acts as the director of Blueberry Academy, which he founded. Oh, this academy's so recent. I thought this academy could have been founded around the time Heath existed 200 years ago. So it sounds more like he got notes from Heath that no one knows about. Not personally from Heath, he just found them. And he decided to investigate something and opened up Blueberry Academy so that he could get to the bottom of it. Because I want to link back to that paper sound effect when they're showing the DLC in this game. It really sounds like it's hidden treasures that no one knows about anymore, but Heath did, and he wrote about them. Having heard rumors about you and your adventures, he visits Paldia to invite you to his institution as an exchange student. This sucker wants our help with something. Look at him. It seems he is a longtime acquaintance of Director Clavel. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is actually giving me ideas. So, this is something known in the game. Clavel was with Sadanturo in Area Zero. He knows Juice and he knows that Sadanturo were doing something related to a time machine. Another character that might have been involved is Jack, but let's not care about him for now. He does have hexagon glasses, so it makes you think, you know, just if he got infatuated off the hexagons or something. But forget about him. Imagine Sadanturo, Clavel, and Cyrano. Imagine all three of them knew about Terrapagus. Clavel doesn't care, he just goes back to the surface and takes the position as the director. But meanwhile, Sadanturo go crazy investigating in their path, and then he does the same thing, going crazy, opening up Blueberry Academy and investigating too. Alright, I'm gonna need to see you interact with Clavel, and I'm gonna need to see Clavel sneak on his Clive, and you have no idea. Alright, then there's Lacey. Is she like dressed as a Swirlix? A second year student at Blueberry Academy, she's a reliable person who shows you around the academy when you first arrive. Her Pokemon battling skills are apparently nothing to scoff at. So I speculated that her hair clips look suspicious when I first watched this, but when I was editing the last video, I realized they actually put a focus on her hair clips later in the trailer. I think more likely than not, those are some Terra related hair clips. And then the last thing they put on their site is more info on that first DLC. In the land of Kirakami, you go to Masui Town, which will act as their base of operations for the duration of the school trip. That sounds so cozy. A freaking summer vacation with the whole school there. Team Skull is definitely showing up too. I meant Star. Oh frick, they're not showing up because this isn't a sequel DLC. That's so sad. I guess the best we can have is Clive in this DLC. There's a park a short walk from town called Loyalty Plaza where you can see statues of a trio that the village fondly calls the Loyal Three. It could be a tradition that comes full circle. So let's say 100 years ago, a horrible thing happened to the village and someone who befriended the three stopped it, and now the prophecy's playing out again. Show me Clive in a fake kimono. Damn, that sucks. Because this takes place alongside the game, Penny and Arvin might not even be involved because they're not really your friends until you beat the game. Penny especially. But if it is a school trip, I guess they're forced to come. But yeah, when it comes to the first DLC, if you look at all of the screenshots on their site, Snorlax, Wooper, Yanma, Vulpix, Sentret, they're all Kanto and Johto Pokemon. Maybe it'll never be even revealed in the DLC, but it'll just be strongly implied that we're near Kanto and Johto, which would, in a weird way, make the Loyal Three and Ogerpon more related to Johto. It just happens Ogerpon stole like some Area Zero relic from Paldea. Then we have the second DLC with Cyrano. Now there's a couple crackpot ideas that I was thinking of. I think they get disproved here, but maybe it's worth sharing with you guys. So first, since we got this terrarium and we're supposed to explore it in the DLC, maybe the idea is that there's Terra shards that the director wants you to gather because he wants to do something at the center, which if you gather enough would probably open a Pandora's box because he's evil and he's trying to bring Tropigus out. But all these little spots here, I thought there were small places with houses, but they look like crystals. Maybe some of these like these are houses or little lab research spots, but these are all just crystal deposits. But yeah, I was saying that idea because imagine if this terrarium was different than what we thought. See, since Tropigus can mess with all 18 types, what if he just wandered out from Area Zero at some point in the past and this is the place he's sleeping? And so the reason Blueberry Academy is here is because underneath all this is where Tropigus is and they're trying to get him. Or what if the whole theory of Paldea being on Tropicus's back, what if this is on Tropicus's back? The terrarium is made up of 4 areas, each of which features a unique climate and ecosystem. There's an artificial sky on the ceiling and walls to reflect the day of time and weather. The temperature of each area is also carefully regulated. This is not natural. It sounds more like Blueberry Academy made this from scratch. The thing that fascinates me the most is this whole borders. Obviously, they haven't explained it yet, but what is at the center of this place? What is that? Reminds me of Ultra Megalopolis. These border blocks, are they natural? And then the last thing is that cutscene at the start of the trailer. Are Sada and Toro both in the same game? And we're gonna meet them in the DLC. Because I swear that is Toro and Sada there. They say here, introducing 2 new exclusives. In Scarlet, you'll find Gligar in the DLC, and in Violet, you'll find Apom in the DLC. And on the surface, they chose these 2 Pokemon because they're Johto Pokemon that get Gen 4 evolutions, so they're counterparts. But you can think a bit differently about this. If these are version exclusives, maybe there's a chance that you'll get a past Apom in Scarlet and a future Gligar in Violet, the same way you get T-Tar in Scarlet and future T-Tar in Violet. I mean, of all the Pokemon you could have displayed here, Milotic, to choose these 2, it gives me that feeling. Anyhow, shout out to Light88 for sending me these, but we have some cool other things to talk about. So remember on the logo for Hidden Treasures of Area Zero, just like the original games, there's another 4 boxes with things. Now looking at it, maybe it could be Ogerpon, and then the 3 Loyals. But this DLC extends to the Blueberry DLC as well. Either way, in the gameplay, you can see one of the logos here beside the dragonfly, and it would look like the logo is supposed to be Ogerpon. Now, compared to the icon here, the one in the logo looks ass. Like, that doesn't look like Ogerpon at all, but I guess that's what it is. Here's a take here. Ogerpon, the 3 Loyals grouped together, Blueberry Academy and Tropigus. So that sounds like it. The first DLC, second DLC, because we know that's the Blueberry logo. I think you cracked it. But the last thing is something cool, which is, what does Ogerpon look like behind the mask? There might be a slight hint, not of his face, but of his features. So here's the mountain that they show at the start of the trailer, which is where Ogerpon lives, or somewhere around there. It resembles an ogre with 2 horns, but one of the horns is kind of destroyed. If you inspect other parts of the gameplay trailer, you see stuff like this. And it seems to be just an icon for the island, but it also looks like 2 horns and one of them is broken. That icon from earlier, it could look like Ogerpon's face from the side where one of the horns is broken. So maybe behind this mask is just that. And just look at this gameplay right here. The detail in these crystals. All the colors refracting. You got the whole rainbow in here, but it's not glowing. If it does turn out he has a broken horn, it could lead back to a story of what originally happened when these 3 got the title of the Loyal 3 and what the story was when they first fought him and probably broke his horn. You know that eerie music you get in Area Zero? We'd probably get a weird ambient spin-off of it when we're exploring this terrarium. Imagine how cool that would sound. Or imagine what the music would sound like when you're going underneath to where Tauropagus is. It must be mad creepy. And then Tauropagus' theme. Alright, make sure you shank that like button, DM me your theories, comment your theories, and we'll talk about more stuff next time. Take care.